Let's see. Okay. Sorry, this class is 10/19/2021, 703, Arizona ASHE, how to price your services in a competitive market. Okay, everybody. This is not a price fixing class. First of all, you can charge whatever you want. If you want to charge $1 or give away your services, we don't care. Some people say, oh, you're charging too little, or oh, you're charging not enough. We don't care. You can charge whatever you want. That's your right to do it. So one of the things in a market like this, or any market, is you have to make money. If you can't make money, you're not going to survive. So let's go ahead and say how to price your services. Let's take a look. It's on your screen. Minimum price to start. Okay. You have to decide what can your market bear. Okay. So are you going to charge it $200 for an inspection? Probably. Or are you going to start a fee of $350 to start? The average across the country, they say, is $300 to $500, depending on what market you're in. It doesn't really matter. Your region. So if I was down in, like, let's say I talked to a guy who was in Louisiana, they're getting $200. They're giddy with excitement that they're getting $200. Of course, when I say, what do your houses sell for? They go, we're almost getting $100 grand for them in their location. So it just depends on where you're at. So we have a minimum price, whatever it might be. Let's say ours is $350. It doesn't really matter. If you take that $350 and you say it's 1,000 square feet, how much is that per square foot? Well, I like math, so that's 35 cents a square foot, everybody. So we charge a minimum fee, and it's not $350, but it's somewhere in the 300s. And so that's 35 cents a square foot. That's where it is. Then if that's our minimum fee, that means if someone calls up and they want a house that's 1,000 square feet, that's what it's going to cost them. But if they want a house that's 2,000 square feet, it's going to cost them more money. So it's sort of weird. The way it works is your square footage goes up, your pricing comes down. So let's say you're charging 20 cents a foot. That seems to be the common industry standard, roughly, and we'll talk about it tonight. So if I charge 20 cents a foot on a 2,000 square foot house, that's only $200. And so I find when I go to the internet and I type it in, all these people are charging 20 cents. Doesn't matter what it is. So they're getting $200 for 1,000 square foot. And when the house is 2,000 square feet, they're charging $400 a square foot, or $400. So the question is, how many hours do you have? Are you making more than you would make if you were just working by the hour? Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's take a look here. By the square footage. In Arizona, I don't know of anybody who's not charging by square footage to start with. In some parts of the country, they charge by the price of the house, item number 4. So they say the house is $1 million and it's 2,000 square feet. So they charge according to that price. Some areas in St. Louis, that's how they're charging. By location, well, if you're going to Benson, you probably charge more to get there. So again, location, location, location. Do they want to pay you to travel, or do they want to pay an inspector who's close by who can do it? You know, like I might go up into Roger's area and say, I'm going to go there and crush the competition. And Roger charges $350 or something. And I say, I'll do it for $325. And I drive for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Well, that's just crazy. But if you have no work, that sounds like a great deal. Okay. By the price of the house, we talked about that. By the age, do any of you charge more money for an older house? Well, sure, it's going to take you longer. Yeah, come on. It's smaller, but it takes you forever to get that done. Okay, now in our area, we don't have a lot of basements. Up in north, you might have some basements, and your pricing is dictated by that. Or you have a low slope roof, or you have an attic, or you have other areas or separate garages. Okay, by the mechanical items. So one of the things in Arizona, okay, everybody's up north, you're out of luck on this one. But mechanical items, most houses, everything over 2,500 square feet to 2,800 square feet, you start to add double the items, double furnaces, double air conditioners. So there might be more mechanical items. Do any of you charge according to more mechanical items than your normal price?
Yes.
Yes, some of you do. So you charge by mechanical items. How you charge, that's up to you. Guest houses. Well, it's not part of the house, so it's an extra square footage. It has a bathroom. It has a kitchenette of some sort. So you're going to charge it according to that. So that would be an add-on. And they can decide where they want to have it. Pools, spas, spools, other items. You can add these on as we'll look at it. We'll write it up. We'll see what we can do. And a lot of times they say, I don't want to pay you for that. I'll tell you what, if I find one item that's a defect, will you pay me $50 for the pool inspection or $100? And most of them will say, yeah, go for it. And then you charge the money. So the idea is they just don't want to pay the money so you can make more money. They want to pay to get some value out of it. So separate garages. I heard somebody was charging for a garage in a house that already had a garage. I said, well, good deal. You should charge for bathrooms too. So, garages and the fee for a garage. Travel fee. One of the things I've learned a long time ago, I charged a travel fee to go 80 miles. And the other guy didn't charge a travel fee. And guess whose fee was more when we added it all together? His. But he didn't charge a travel fee. His was more money by $5. He beat me out, which doesn't matter. But the client, in their mind, they were paying a travel fee. And I said, oh, okay, so now we don't charge a travel fee anymore. We just state what the price is and off we go. Does anybody charge for return trips? The gas isn't on. The water's not on.
Yes.
Charge to come back. Yes.
Well, the answer is yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. Do you do the inspection if the power and water or gas are off, or you just leave and say, call me when it's on? What do you do, Roger?
I've done it both ways.
What do you do? Do you do what you can, get your money now so they have to call you back?
I'd rather do that and get my money now and then come back later, to check the gas appliances or something like that.
Okay, but you're not charging to come back then.
It depends.
Okay.
It depends on what's going on, who's the customer, who's the agent. A lot of variables go into that one.
Who's been bad? Who's getting charcoal in their little stockings?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we never leave. Once we're there, we get the money, everybody. We don't leave the site. Some people say, oh, that's horrible. Hey, well, do you want to make money or not? So we collect the fee, and then we tell them to call us. And lo and behold, there are many times they don't call us. The deal falls apart, but at least we wrote a report for what's there. How can you write a report? Well, I got the roof, the structure of the windows, and all the things you can write up. So we write those up. You also charge extra for items that the house doesn't have. Okay. So what else can we get money for? Sewer scoping. Okay. It's a race to the bottom in the Tucson market. The plumbers are charging $99. Now there's a plumber charging $69. He'll go 30 feet for $69. And lo and behold, there are some houses that are 30 feet or close to the road. So the sewer scoping, we offer sewer scoping, whatever the fee might be. It doesn't matter. You can call up. It's $150 for us, but we don't do repairs. So, but that's offered through another company. And we have many inspectors and realtors who use that company because we don't do repairs. But then there's the people who want a plumber to do it who does repairs. So why do they charge $99 or $69? Because they are going to put a clean out in. So again, it's a case of if you were charging $50 for your home inspection and did repairs, they probably wouldn't hire you. So our standards of practice say that you can't do an inspection and then offer a fee to repair those items. Okay. What other items can we get a fee for? Does anybody charge for? Anything else you charge for, Roger?
Well, crawl space.
Crawl space? I mean, you go under houses? Ugh, yucky.
Under houses, yeah, in the crawl space. Not the crawl space above your head, but the one below your feet.
Okay, so crawl space under the house, and roughly is that like a $50 fee or something? $25?
I just went up. I charged 35.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a fee. It doesn't matter what he charges. Um, okay, crawl space under house. Someone was charging for basements, mold testing, water testing, insulation testing. Oh, anybody doing lead? Nobody's doing lead? Okay. Well, if you're not doing, huh?
It comes up so infrequently.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff for that. What's that thing where they were testing for the air and everybody wanted it at one time and it's a gas that comes out of the ground.
Radon.
Radon.
Radon, yeah. Okay. Anybody doing radon testing for money?
Nope.
Okay. So radon testing. So there's a guy in Tucson. Let's call him Harris. We'll call him Harris for the moment. He does radon and he does air testing and mold. Okay, and he has these little machines, and since no one else wants to do it, it keeps him pretty busy. But so he might be at a house doing that because someone wants it. What other testing do we have now? Is anyone doing stucco inspections, limited inspections for stucco?
What's a limited inspection for stucco?
Yeah. Well, you're checking the stucco for water intrusion, separation, defects. So you're allowed to, by the standards of practice, to do those type of inspections because you're still an inspector, but you have to state that's what you're doing. It's a limited inspection of just that area. So if a stucco expert wants to inspect stucco, they're allowed to do that. So, if that's what they do for a living. New construction, you can charge for that. And on those, you can get 3 inspections out of that. Pre-drywall. I left out the one pre-concrete if you want to do that one, and then finish. And are you charging a full inspection fee for each one of these? Yes. Sorry, I should answer for you. So you got pre-drywall and finish. So here we have pre-concrete too. Okay. So the fee on those, the problem on these on new construction is they passed a law that all home inspectors can be pulled into a class action lawsuit against a builder. And so that sort of scared us. But if you have the insurance, like Inspector, whatever company might be selling it, there's some company called Inspector Pro and some others that sell insurance that you can buy that protects you with the rider. Is there anybody here who does new construction phase inspections? No one's face is showing. So, okay. So you have new construction phase inspections. This is a good one here. 1 year. 1 year. All you got to do is just start at one house and work your way down the street. You know that the houses are all built about the same time. So it's pretty easy to start with one, find 3 or 4 items, and those people are going to tell everybody in the subdivision. So you can hang out by the pool. Remember, that's stalking, so be careful what you're doing. But you can do that type of thing. But the 1 year inspection, what's the cost of that? The cost of an inspection, everybody. And at this point, you're going on the roof. You're going to walk the perimeter. The buyer may want to hang out with you. It's whatever you want to do, and then you write it up. But the 1 year inspections for them to get done those things that they didn't get finished originally. They have to notify the builder within that 1 year. So you can set that on your Google Calendar for their address. So if you happen to do the pre-drywall inspection, just put it on your calendar to call them 1 month before 1 year's up and come on back and get another fee out of them. It's just like never ending. The builders are almost saying to you, we want to pay you. Any other way to make money? Any other one here? Okay, we do smell testing. We have a machine, a smoke machine. We use it once in a while, every couple times a year. Somebody will have sewer odors or smells, and you can charge a fee for that. So we've done that in the past. Leak detecting, do we have that here? Okay, leak detecting. Unless someone has a machine for that, leak detecting. They listen for the water running through the pipes. Okay, I don't need any equipment to find a leak, everybody. I can find a leak in 30 seconds. All I gotta do is walk over to the water meter, stare at the meter, and watch the thing spinning and no one's home. Okay? If it's leaking somewhere, and then you go inside and check the toilets, and if they're not leaking, we got a leak from the meter into the house. So there you go. And if you got a leak, then you're a hero. Gas testing. The gas company does it for free, so it's pretty hard to do that. But gas testing, plumbers are now doing that. So it's pressure test. But the gas company does it for free. Okay. So none of, excuse me. So if we start here at the top again, minimum price to start. I'm going to just take out the $200. I don't think anybody charges that for an inspection. Re-inspections, do I have those on here? Is re-inspection on here? I don't see it. Okay, so re-inspections. Re-inspection. I guess I got to learn how to spell. There you go. Okay. Re-inspection fees. Does anyone go back for money? Roger,
Of course.
you go back for money? Yeah,
Mhm.
and Roger looks at me when I say these things. He says, "Who wouldn't?" I mean, I hear people going, "Oh, I went back 3 or 4 times. I love my buyers." Blah blah blah. Well, that's good. While you're doing that, give me the rest of your inspections. You can't make it to. You're going to charge a fee for re-inspection, everybody, and then you're going to write up a report. Now, some of you are charging $40 or $50. You could charge whatever you want. I don't care. But if you figure out the cost of an inspection and your time, your re-inspection took 2 hours, no matter what you did. You had to get there, you had to wander around, and then you had to leave. Some of you were charging by the item. 1 through 5 is this much, and 5 through 10 is this much. And I listen to everybody talk about how they're charging. I really don't care how many items there are. It's just how long am I there? And so I base my time on a re-inspection. So, we used to charge 150, 175, 200, 250. We collect that money right during our first inspection. We get paid right then. And you go, "Oh, how can you do that?" Because there's going to be a re-inspection. And so we say to them, they already know the fee because we've told them what it is. And don't get me wrong, but many of the people are paying before we're there now, or before we used to collect the checks. And at time, we now use a payment portal method where they just go online and we tell them how much it is and they pay it. So it's pretty nice. All your banks have this payment portal path, everybody, which is free. It's free. I'll just let you know it's free, so you don't have to pay for it. You just have to have a bank account and use Stripe, and you set up the free account. If I didn't say the word, it's free. Now, when you take charges, okay, so let's go back up here to the minimum price. So the way the charges work, they work from 2% up to 5%. And you're going, "Oh, what does that mean?" Well, for every $100 that you charge, they take $2. So if you have an inspection that's $400, you just spent $8 to collect that money. But most of your averages are 2.35 to 265 on an average. So they always tell you how much your charge is. And they'll say, "Oh, we're only charging you 1.65. Well, when you get your bill at the end of the month, it's $1 if it's MasterCard, and it's 50 cents if it's Visa. And by the time they add all the fees, you're really paying that much. You just don't know it. So the way to figure out what your average costs are is figure out what you're paying per month in fees. How much money did you bring in? And that's what you're paying. That's the best way, because otherwise it just drives you nuts because you don't know what they're using, whether they're using a vanity card. What does that mean? Well, on TV, they always talk about all the perks for all the whatever. They're saying those cards are charging you for that person to go on that trip to the Bahamas. So that's where all that money is coming from. Okay, So minimum price to start, let's say it's $3.50. We'll work up, and then it's 20 cents or 22 cents or whatever you might want to charge. How do you know you're charging for, some guys, I've been to these classes where they tell you how to price your services. And they say, well, your inspection should be $850. And you're going, well, that's great. What are you inspecting for $850? It doesn't matter. That's what the fee should be. Well, no one's paying you that. If it was, you couldn't buy gas. So your region's going to tell you how you're charging everybody. So if you're doing a house that's selling for $800,000, you tell them it's $350. They're probably going to look at you like you're a little weird, because we all know you get what you pay for. Don't get me wrong. So if the price is so cheap, it seems weird, unusual, they're not going to hire you. And you go, I can't get any work. I don't understand. I do a lot of traveling. So one guy says, I charge $250 for any house. And he goes, I just can't get any work. Well, that's because you're $250. He gets a lot of townhouses, which are fine. Okay, square footage, we talked about that. So like if you have a duplex, you're going to have to charge for the kitchen, the extra mechanical, things like that. And how would you charge? I don't know, $25, $50. You have to figure it out. Now, who here has never figured out how long it takes them to start from the portal to portal? In the morning, I get up, I leave the house, and I drive to the first inspection. Then I'm there for 2 hours. Then I drive to the next inspection. Or let's say I drive back home because I can only do one a day because 2 drive me nuts. So I go there, I come back, and I say, okay, I was at the inspection for 2. I sat down in front of the computer, and I cranked that baby out, and I finished it in another 30 minutes. Let's say it's an hour. We'll round everything off. So you have 3 hours into the inspection, an hour traveling, because I like to travel, and an hour coming back. I get 5 hours into it. Okay. So if I have 5 hours into it and my minimum price is $350, what am I making? I'm bad with math. So is that $70? 5 times 7, 35. Okay. So that's like $70 an hour. Let's just say that's what it is. And then I have to cover some of my costs from there. So some of you have worked in the past. Let's say you work by the hour, you work for yourself. And Roger, before you became an inspector, I don't know what you did. Were you like a bank manager, or what did you do? You look like a banker to me.
No, far from it. I was a truck mechanic. I worked on the big semis.
Oh, big rigs. Okay. Yeah. So the standard fee for truck mechanic was probably $85 an hour to the business. And then they paid him some sort of fee because they had overhead. That's the way it works, everybody. So when a plumber comes, you have no problem shelling out $85 when the plumber himself only makes $30 probably, and the company makes the rest. So you have to cover your overhead. And everyone says, oh, I work for myself. Well, good for you. So you have to pay your fees. Okay, you have to pay your fees. So how many inspections do you need to do a week to pay your fees or make a living? Let's do it that way. So some people say, oh, I want to make $10,000 a month, and then that'll be $100,000. I'll be very happy. Well, good for you again. So you have to say, first you have to get inspections, everybody. And you have to say, okay, can I get one a day? Can I get one a week? And then work it up from there. So sometimes it's okay, I might be able to do 3 a week. And then those 3 a week, if those are $350 or $400, that's $1,200. Okay, that sounds pretty good. And then I have to figure out my costs from there and see if it makes sense. But if you don't have those 3, or you only do 1 or you do 2 based on the market, some of you are saying, oh, I'm so busy, I don't know what to do, I'm going nuts. Well, good for you. It has to do with, are you covering your costs? I'm a firm believer in that. So at one time I figured out I had to do 5 inspections. Things were cheaper back then. I do 5 inspections a month to cover my costs, like food and eating. But then I said, wait a minute, I have to live somewhere. So then I had to figure out, do I need more inspections to pay where I'm living? And so you figure out, and you say, okay, if I'm doing 10 inspections and I bring in $3,500, does that allow me to live in my house, or do I have to live in my car until I can get more money, or my truck? So when you're first starting out, you've got to make that work. Okay, now in 1999, so I've been doing this a long time, everybody. In 1999, I remember this because the numbers all seem to match. I was charging $199. 1999, I was getting $199. Woo, man, I'm rocking. But back in 1999, you could buy a car for, $4,000 off the lot, and things were just cheaper. So pricing, it's just based on the dollar. Okay. We charge a fee based on location. So what does that mean? Well, as you go up towards a certain location, maybe things are more expensive, but it takes you longer. So it takes you longer to do the inspection, because as the house gets bigger based on square footage, it might have 3 or 4 air conditioners or 3 or 4 furnaces. You've got to charge for your time to inspect those items. Okay. Price of the house. We never do that because a lot of times the house is on land. So does anybody here, have you charged according to the price of the house? It's $1 million and it sits on a lot, size of probably not in this area. By age, we just charge more. It's older, we charge more. Mechanical items, we talked about that. Guest house. We price the guest house fee out at how long is it going to take me? An hour, hour and a half. Okay, so we just figured out, let's say it was $70 an hour is what you're making here. Are you going to charge $70 for a guest house? Is it going to take you an hour to do the guest house? Roof, mechanical, bathrooms, exterior, write it up, a kitchenette. Are you going to even inspect a house for that? Probably not. So you might charge more for that, like let's say $100 or something. Pools, I've seen the pricing range from $40 to $150. The pool companies, they're charging $75 to $150, but they're opening up the filters. They're checking the interior. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is write up the items. Do we have pool SOPs, Roger, for sale?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And those SOPs, what do they tell you? How to do an inspection?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Step by step, basically.
Yeah. So we have standards that the state has developed, and we have those standards if you want to do pools, and then you can charge real money for those and add those on. If you don't know how to do pool inspections, I guess Arizona ASHI will have to do some more pool classes. Okay. Garages. There's garage doors on most of these. Do you check the garage door openers and stuff like that, Roger?
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounded like a question, the way you answered that. We do. So on a garage door, are you checking reasonable resistance as required on the standards of practice?
I check both reasonable resistance and the safety beam.
Photocell?
Well, photocell, safety beam, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Okay. And you do that, and then the door comes downward. Do you stop it with your hand, or do you throw something on the ground, or what do you do to test that?
I put reasonable resistance with my hand.
Okay. So reasonable
And
resistance.
if it comes out of my fingers and there's a certain pressure that I let it go, and then it comes out of my fingers, then I write it up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Needs
Most of our heads are a little mushy, everybody. So that test itself, if it hits you on the head. And then the other one, I started doing this a couple of years ago. I pull that little cord thing. First, I look up and make sure there's a spring on it. Now, some guy was telling me he charges extra for doing this safety check. You can charge whatever you want. I don't care. This is not price fixing. I'll say that again and again and again. You're doing an inspection, charge your fee and do whatever you're doing. Travel. I figure my travel, if I've got to travel an hour, it's the same as if I were doing the inspection, everybody. Some of you charge a $25 travel fee to sit in your car to blow 2 hours, and you get $50 for that. Why do it? Unless you have no work. Now, if you have no work, then you can travel. But if you're so busy, you're out 2 or 3 days, why even get in your car and travel and charge $25 to sit there and drive? So you have to go back and look at your pricing and how you're charging. If you hired a plumber or an electrician or some other craft person, they're not discounting their time sitting in the car. Sometimes they'll say, portal to portal. It's in their fees. Okay, garage, we did that. Travel, return trips. Generally, we find out who it is, and if it's a person that was supposed to have the gas on and they told us it was on after we've been there before, we're not coming back until they pay us with a credit card. And so our return fee for showing up is whatever it might be, but it has to cover an hour of labor time. Does everybody understand? You're not working for free. Stop it. Okay. Power, water, and gas are off. If I've got to come back, it's going to take you at least another hour and a half or 2 hours to do that. If they say they want to pay you, figure out your time. There's nothing you can do in less than getting there a half hour and a half hour back. You have to charge for that time. So if I work that out, that's 2 hours. So based on what we're talking about here, sounds like $150 to me, or whatever fee you might want to charge. Okay. Spas. Okay. Sewer scope can be an add-on. Some of you are trying to make money off the plumber. You say, oh, I'll schedule the plumber. Oh my God, don't do that. But it's up to you. I don't get involved with sending another person out and trying to make money off of that, because when there's a problem, then you get dragged into it. You made $20 and then you lose it. But if you're going to do this as part of your company or something and you want to make more money, Sewer Scope is sort of a nifty thing. Again, Sewer Scope Specialist is a great company based in Tucson. Everything's based on a name, everybody. So one of the things I find out, I always ask clients, why did they pick Roger to do the inspection? Roger, what is your company name?
Inspect It First.
Yes. And everybody loves that name because it has the word inspected and it's first. Okay, Roger,
Right.
Roger probably doesn't think of it, but I take these names and I ask people what they think about it. And they go, well, inspected first. I like that. Or your name is unusual and that's all they can remember. So they like it. So I said, well, my name is Brick. Why not call it Brick by Brick? Okay. And then Sewer Scope Specialist, that just denotes quality, like someone knows what they're doing, And Key has an unusual first name, so he did it. Steve, I don't know what your company name is. I'm quite sure it's Steve the Home Inspector or something. John, I think his son something. I can't remember what it is. And Keith, I don't know what your...
Rod,
What is it?
I'm sorry, Briggs. This is Steve. Mine's Unique Home Inspections.
Unique. Yeah, okay. Now there's another name. There must be 100 people with the name Unique across the country. But everyone goes, oh, Unique. Wow. And they think about it because that's another word, like quality home inspections. Or there was a guy who had his name Certified Home Inspector. I don't even know if he's still around. But and
I know a guy that's his company name is Affordable Home Inspections. And he's not at all affordable in my mind.
Yeah, he's not affordable. It has nothing to do with that. It's sort of crazy. And so the people who say they're affordable, typically they charge more than everyone else. I'm just saying, it just denotes quality and affordable, and all those other names are just names that just denote that quality. And you almost have to do that to get that extra money out of them. So we got 27 items here of a way to price your services. And some of you are embarrassed, I don't know if you are or not, how to charge. I think it's 85% of all our fees are collected by credit card now. 85%. And you know why? Because they want to give me their money. They just want to give it to me.
Yeah, they also have this thing called rewards points.
I always wave at them.
They're getting a couple bucks back.
Yeah, they get rewards. And I always say, well, wave at me as you're going to the Bahamas. And everyone says, well, how do you pay all those fees? Charge more in your fees. And some people, oh, I don't want to charge more. Well, don't then. So we already know it's an average cost of 3.5%. It says 2.65, but they're lying to you. So it's about 4%, everybody. Once you figure all the other 50-cent fees and dollars. So it's $4 per 100. So if you got a $300 inspection, it's $12. $12. So if you charge $15 and just say, I'm going to charge $15 in every inspection, and then you go, well, they gave me a check. Well, then give them back $15 if you want. You can say, oh, I gave you a discount today, or I'll give you a discount for cash, or whatever it is you want to do. No one's ever said to me, well, they have. They've said, I've got cash. Do you want it? And I go, no, I don't want cash. I want a check or a credit card because I want to claim everything I make. Where some of you say, I love cash. But again, we do the credit cards because everybody wants them. And And now with the new pay portal, and when I say new, some of you go, "Oh, I've been taking credit cards forever." But we had those scanners, the Square, and the other things everyone talks about. Um, they have all these new ways to collect money, and so we just put a button in all our emails. When we send an email, it says "Pay here," and everyone says, "Well, how do they know what to pay?" Because in the in the email we say your fee is $400. Click on this link and pay it, and the client, it pops up. They type in $400. They put in their name, and it goes into the credit card company. So, and we use Stripe as our travel company for that. That's another company. You have PayPal. All the banks now see the money floating away, so they're starting their own pay portals, which are their own, and they'll give you the links, they'll give you the shortcuts, and then you embed those into so you don't even have to have a fancy website. Now you still have to send contracts, and so you have to get those contracts signed before you deliver the report in the state of Arizona. So you have to decide how you're going to do that, by paper or electronically. Any other ways here to make money? How to price your services? Anybody else? Anybody can see here? We're gonna post this on the website here. Oh, I see what it is. Is there anybody do ride-alongs, parallels? We'll just call them ride-alongs. Ride-along. That's another way to make some money. So if you're getting your license in the state, you have to ride along with somebody. They've changed the rules on that. You actually have to produce 30 inspections now, where some of you just produced one and shipped it in. They're going to pick it. We'll see how this works. But they have to write a report and send them in. Okay. You could offer testing. We pay people to look at our reports before we send them out. And our report verifiers will verify a report for $35. And they're qualified to look at your report, correct the spellings, tell you what you missed, and then with your approval, add it if need be, or fix it and then still get your approval. One of the things we find out is on these things, if you make a mistake, you can fix it. But if your client wants you to come back out, do you charge a fee to come back out to look at something that they have a complaint about? I don't know of anyone doing that. If you do, let me know, because I'd like to find out how you do it. If they're already ticked off, you want to make them matter at you. Okay. Any other fees you see here that you can make some money at, anyone? Okay. Some of you are offering warranties and charging warranty stuff. If you're charging a fee for something for someone else, you have to tell your client that there's money involved. So it's illegal in this, like you send over the guy to do the alarm system, and then they don't know that you're getting money paid by the alarm system guy to pay you. That's illegal in the state of Arizona. Pay referral thing. Also doing repairs. I mean, somebody got mad because they fixed they tightened the bonnet nut on a faucet. They said, "Oh, that's a repair." That isn't what they're talking about. They're talking about like rehanging a door. You can tighten a screw on a handle, but you can't be doing any repairs. Okay.
And charging for it.
And charging for it, yeah. You can give away your time all you want. Now, if you let's say you do an inspection, the disposal's leaking, and they said, "Hey, you missed that disposal." You go, "How can I miss it?" Well, that was yesterday, and today it's leaking. There's a big crack down the side, so maybe you just didn't catch it. So I know some of you will scamper out there and just replace it. Others will say, "Call a plumber," and then $500 later they put a disposal in and send you the bill. Just crazy things like that. We got one where the guy inspected it and the water heater's not leaking. He says, "Oh, just hire a plumber." Plumber to be unnamed. The plumber gave him a bid of $1,700 for a 50-gallon electric water heater. And that's when all the freaking out started. And I went, $1,700? That's insane. Um, yeah. And then, or falling through a ceiling. And then you say, just go ahead and get the bid and I'll pay whatever it is. That type of stuff is crazy. Um, or you say, I'll fix it. And then they don't like what you fixed, and your life is gone for like a week while you're spending that money. So repairing something that you broke during the inspection, if they acknowledge that, it's okay, but it just never seems to end well. Okay, anything else here in regards to fee charging? There's guys that make their living doing nothing but stucco inspections and subdivisions with stucco defects. Okay, so that's called EIFS. I don't even know how to spell that. EIF. I don't know. Somebody probably knows how to spell it. Steve, you're a stucco guy. But the EIF stuff is.
Yes, this is Steve. This is Steve. It's EIFS. Not a lot of people pronounce it EIFS, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's Exterior Insulation Finishing Systems.
Yeah, there you go. EIFS.
EIFS. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's exterior, and it's sort of crazy, but it's this membrane, and they stuck over it. It's all over Vegas. I don't see too much of it in Tucson. Do you do inspections of that and make any money, Steve?
I don't.
Okay. There's just not enough here for it to go bad, but up in some of the Phoenix markets, guys are writing up reports all day long, and back east, this is everywhere. We just don't have enough water to create an issue. Okay. Some of you might be experts in a certain field, and you can charge according to that, but you got to be very careful, because then that suddenly makes you an expert in that field if something might occur. So my little buddy Harris is an electrician. So you would expect, and he said, I'm an electrician. I'm a general contractor myself, but I don't say I'm a general contractor, because then they would expect me to know more about the house than what I can see. You can only inspect what you can see, everybody. You can't tell about latent defects that are hidden away somewhere that someone's hidden. So you got to be very careful, so they can't come back later and say, why didn't you know that? Okay. So age, mechanical, guest house, pool, garage, travel, return trips. That's where all your money is. Power, water, gas are off. Collect your money. Don't leave. If you're going to do a re-inspection, collect that money now. You know you're going to do it in a couple weeks. Receipts only. And if it doesn't have it, I don't write anything up on the report. Rogers, when you do re-inspections, are you writing a report?
Yeah, it's real simple, basically checklist report.
Okay, checklist, yeah. So we don't use the original report. And I know Home Gauge and some of the others, they have what they call a re-inspection report. It just puts the same stuff back on the report. We just do a punch list and finish it up, and we're done. Only the items that are on the repair request. Some of you can't help yourselves, and you're staring at everything as you're walking in. Those are all the things you missed originally, so I'll just let you deal with that. Crawl space under the house. Is there anything extra you're doing when you're under there for money, Roger?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so all of us are writing up mold. Oh, termite inspections. I know a lot of you are charging for termites. Are you doing those, Roger?
I sub them out.
Yeah, okay.
I just refer my termite guy.
Okay. In the Tucson market, which John and Richard, I don't know where Keith and John are, but in the Tucson market, they're doing it for $40. So it makes no sense whatsoever to get your license and try to inspect them in this market when they're charging, because they changed the law, everybody. The way it was before, the termite inspection would be done like a week before the closing. So you had to hire that person. You had to do it. Now, one person writes up the report and you don't have to use them. You can use anybody. So that changed the whole market for the termite inspectors to get that done. So they write up an estimate and say it here's, and then they try to sell bug treatment. So termite inspections is another path to go. But any inspector who's done these, when they make a mistake at the inspection, usually the bug inspection's bad too. So it's a double whammy for them. So there's no money to be made for us in the Tucson market unless there's some for some reason. Ride-alongs, those fees, we've got them listed on the website if you want to be a ride-along person, called Parallels. And you meet the requirements, you can sign in on the AZSU website or we'll sign you in. And those fees can range. I hear people charging 75 to 150 bucks. Somebody said they were getting 200. I don't know why, but either way, I don't know what the limitation is. I think the limit's 4 or something. I don't know why you bring 4 people along with you, but they had to put a limit on it because you bring a whole class along with you and have them wandering through someone's house. And it's a standing invitation with anybody in these classes. If you want to call up, and we'll take you out for free at in the Tucson market anyway. He came down. I don't know if he had lunch with us or something, but he came down and rode along with us because he likes Tucson better than Phoenix. And but it's always nice to go to another area and see what it's like. So our next education event is going to be the Scariest Day, October 30th. It looks like we're going to have sign-ups are occurring pretty quickly now. We got about 40 people signed up, and the inspectors. We have an inspector who's also a building official in Phoenix, which was pretty cool. When I interviewed him, he didn't say any of this. It was like he was scared, and we were talking about charging and things, and he goes, "Oh, I'm a building official, blah blah blah." Well, he worked as a home inspector in the California market for 13 years before he moved to Phoenix. And so that's going to be a pretty interesting. You can ask him questions about what the Phoenix market is. And then we're going to keep a list of things for you of those things when you say, oh, you can't use that water supply line for a pressure relief valve, or you can't do this. What are the different areas you have, your markets? Do they allow it or not? That's the thing that gets me. Do they allow copper flex lines for pressure relief valves in your market? Yes or no? And then we'll find out if the counties accept them, and we'll start writing up a list so we can have those on the website and then move along. So some of the areas we would really like to know if what those rules really are. Okay. Okay. So gas testing, the prices on that, we've seen them go from $50 to $200. Again, there's no way you can do a gas pressure test in less than an hour. So a plumber comes, he's got 2 hours into it. So they're getting $80 an hour. So that's $160. So $200 doesn't sound out of line. Reinspection fee, again, unless you're charging $200 or $150 to $200, it makes no sense. Unless you have no work, then it makes sense. Okay, see what I'm saying? If you have no work, you can do it for free. It's very nice of you to go out and do that. But you have to charge enough to pay yourself the same thing you would make. You do have some costs involved. If I'm in the area or driving by, sometimes I'll just say, I'll take whatever money's in your pocket. Sometimes they got a lot of money in their pocket. They say, oh no, I can't give you all that money. Other times it's like they barely have $1. So I always make sure it's at least $20. But you got to charge to get paid. Termite inspections, $40. Okay. Anything else here that people check? Pretty big list. Cool. Okay.
How about bank inspections, Brick?
Oh yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. Bank and relo. Okay. Okay. Let's do another one here. Trust inspections. We'll talk about these, and then the other one right now that's occurring is called a house wellness check. These are pretty cool. Wellness check. Okay. Okay. So a bank and relo, the bank is in trust. So, well, bank and trust are about the same, but a relo inspection, someone's moving to somewhere else. the problem is these type of things, they always want to pay you like $150 or 175. Hey, everything's negotiable, everybody. I had one of these people call us and I said, we're not walking out the door for less than $250 to write your report using your form, only because they told me the address was nearby one of the inspectors. So it made sense using their form. The state of Arizona allows reload companies and companies that's what they do to write a report that doesn't meet the standards of practice. Okay. Because they're just writing it for the reload company. And then the thing is, when it sells, you can still write that report depending on how it's written. Bank inspections, the problem with these are, it used to be they would call you. Now the bank says, I got a person sitting right over there at that desk, and they send them out and they don't know anything. Trust inspections, you can make some money on these. Properties are held in trust that the bank has to manage. And the public fiduciary, that's another good one here. Let me put that down here. So trust houses are held by the bank by somebody who's passed away, and the people in their family want you to inspect it and tell the condition so they can give it a value from an appraisal. And so that's another way. And again, they don't mind paying the money. You just have to give them a bid and see. Okay. House wellness check. It sounds weird. What this is for, in custody battles, if you get involved with lawyers. So if you're in an area where like everyone's getting divorced or they're sick and they have to go into housing care, if you contact the lawyer in your area, they don't know who to hire. They don't know what to do. This is a great way for you to bring in some other cash, everybody. The house wellness check, you go and you write a report based on the condition of the house. So instead of calling it a home inspection and everybody's jaw gets real tight, no, I don't need that. But the house wellness check tells you the condition of the house. Right now, when granny has to go to home care or grandpa, so that they know the condition is what it is. Otherwise, if they don't come back or they do come back, all the furniture is missing. So you take some pictures, car is gone. But the condition of the house is much, the condition is bad. The roof was leaking when they left. No one got it fixed. So there's a good way to make money on that. And you decide how you want to charge. You're charging a full fee inspection. I can tell you that right now for your first, and then whenever you go back. Public fiduciary. This is run by the state and the city and the county. You call them up in your area, if you're in a small area, and they have these homes where the people, this old guy in the Tucson market, he was living in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere. Let's call it Vale. He was living in this area called Vale. And this guy I went in there and the food was like 3 years old on the cupboards and stuff like that. And they hired me to go in there and look at this building. And I said, well, this building isn't worth a nickel. It was just packed full of pack rats and all. And this guy was like living, and they went ahead and they checked and found out he had $100,000 in the bank and owned some big building downtown in Tucson worth $300,000. And the guy was, but he was living like he didn't have a nickel. And so the bank paid us to look at all these buildings and tell them the condition. And they got them checked. And so again, you write up the same report you're doing now. It's not like brain surgery, everybody. So these are another path for you. Okay, good ones, Roger. Perfect. What else? So you can work for lawyers. I don't know if any of you have lawyers in your family, but don't blame me. Lawyers. Okay, now we've been talking about residential stuff, but commercial work is a little harder because you really got to know what the rules are. So we get a lot of referrals for commercial work, hotels and stuff. But unless you've done that, I probably wouldn't do it. I'd hand it off to somebody else so you don't have an issue. But commercial work is another way to make some money. Are you waving your hand at me?
Yeah, how about a pre-sale inspection?
Oh, yeah. Pre-sale. Okay, yeah, those are good. Your problem with the pre-sale is you got all these other home inspector know-it-alls. Thank you. But a pre-sale is a good way, and we were doing quite a few of those. The problem is, don't get me wrong, but the home inspector would come in and write a report. Oh, you got a pre-inspection, and they're writing up stuff on the report that is just insanely crazy. But a pre-sale is good for people who don't understand the condition of their home. And the realtor says, well, we need that. So they just don't know. And you go, well, you need a roof, first of all. So that brings that sense of reality back to the seller who thinks, but in this market, no one's doing a pre-sale because they're writing no inspection offers with backups. So it's a pretty hard thing to do, but a pre-sale might be in an area where the homes are all selling for the same price. I've had no one call me and say, oh, I need a pre-sale thing. They just say, I'd like you to inspect the roof. And you're going, okay, we're going to charge you for that. And how much do you charge for the roof? I don't care, but it's 2 hours of time. I got to get there and I got to get back. So figure out what you're charging per hour. And that's what the fee is or more. Does everybody understand? Hour there. And you say, oh, it doesn't take an hour. Well, time yourself. Get out of the car, put the ladder up. You're there for an hour, whatever you're doing. You still got to write it up, go back to the office. Nothing takes 10 minutes, everybody. When I hear that, I almost want to have, projectile vomiting. Wah! You go crazy. I just can't take it. Nothing is 10 minutes. Stop it. Stop saying that. Okay, so pre-sale, that's a good one. And what do you charge for that? As much as you charge for another house. Okay. This market's pretty hard on pre-sale, but you can do component inspections. You can break it up. It's a tough one. It's just everyone's looking at the pricing. Okay. So pricing, let's start up here at the top here again. How to price your services. I don't tell them the price until the very end. After I've said what day do you want it and what time do you want us to show up? I've got their name already down there. Okay, we talk to people. Some of you let them sign up. You're going to double the amount of inspections you get if you just answer your phone or have someone answer it. Because most people, they may not want to sign in and do that. Or if they sign in and they see your price, they just go around and keep price shopping. So, Roger, how do they find out your prices?
I tell them.
Yeah, there you go. So he used that old fashioned, I'm going to talk to you thing, the talkie box, his mouth.
And it's at the end of the order as well, just like you.
Yeah,
so
end of the order.
We say, yes, we can be there Wednesday. Yes, we'll send someone out there to do the termite inspection, and then if they ask for the fee, then we'll tell them.
Yeah, well, they usually ask at the end, how can I pay for that? And I said, you can take a credit card right now. See, before we used to say, well, why don't you give it to us? We'll type it in. We'll say, we just sent you a link and pay that fee and sign the contract because we have a link in there to sign the contract. And they send it back to us using Adobe Sign. It's $10 a month. It's very cheap. I love it. I got that from Inspector Joe. Thank you, Inspector Joe. You could also use, does anybody here in this group use the, what's it called? It's like $2 or $3 an inspection. ISN?
Yeah, I'm using it.
Oh, ISN. Okay. So you talk to them and then they go in and they pay the fee and they click on
They
it.
get an email with a link. You sign the agreement, and as soon as they sign the agreement, it takes them directly into the portal, put their credit card information in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We just add an extra one. So with Adobe Sign, it goes on, it's on their phone, and then they just take their finger and scribble their signature on. HomeGauge, if you're with them, has a portal to do all this stuff, but I just haven't signed up to do that because I like to still talk to them. You find out you get a lot of referrals if someone's happy with you. If they're not happy with you, they don't want to talk to you. But I'm telling you, we get more work just talking to people. And what's the craziest thing? We get a lot of work from the people selling their homes, the ones that get the reports from us. And the first thing they say, I'm mad at you. Okay, thank you. And we love your report. We believe everything you said, and we're hiring you, not to put the screws to the next person, but we've talked to them, or they might be there, or they'll call up and say, we're trying to get this thing repaired. What do we need? Well, you call a plumber, and a lot of agents goes, oh, you shouldn't be talking to them. Well, I get the okay of the buyer, and it's sort of full service. you know, if you talk to your clients and they have a question, it's a good thing, everybody. Okay. And then Google reviews are sort of a nice thing to have. I didn't really believe in them, but you know, we had, I think, 4 like the last 3 years. So I just called up a bunch of people and said, I need some Google reviews that did inspections. We got like 30 of them in 8 days. And when you have more Google reviews, the search engines find you quicker. Run by Google, of course. Sort of crazy. Okay. Anything else on here? That was a good one, Kai. Lawyers, public fiduciary, commercial work, pre-sales. I know we got another good 2 or 3 out of here we could get out of you guys. Okay. Hey, Keith, what market are you in? We'll see if Keith is awake or he just.
I'm awake. Yeah, I'm up in Phoenix.
Okay. And in your market, what's the average inspection fee up there? I'm not asking what you charge. What's the average
Yeah.
fee in your market?
You know, basically the low, you know, if I'm going to get in a car, it's going to run anywhere between 250 and 290.
Okay. And then,
Okay, and that's usually up to about 1,000 square foot.
yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. That's it. So,
And it really doesn't matter whether it's a manufactured home or a site built. They pretty much all charge the same, although I've done quite a few manufactured homes and I'm really thinking about charging more for those.
yeah, well, actually, I just wrote that
They are a
down.
real pain.
Yeah, you have to charge more. Let me do it this way. Because are you crawling underneath them?
What's that?
Are you crawling underneath them to check for tie downs?
If I can,
Okay.
if I some of them, they have the skirting on so tight you can't get underneath the darn things.
Right. So then you can't inspect them. And then if
Right.
they're FHA or VA, don't they require an engineering certificate?
VA and FHA require a combination appraisal and livability inspection. So most of the places that are going VA or FHA need to have a dual inspection. They have the VA or FHA appraisal or inspection, and they look for a general home inspection as well.
Okay. And you're charging the same fee for those?
For what, a VA, FHA?
Yeah, or the manufactured house, or you charge a little bit more now?
Right now, I'm charging the same for a manufacturer versus a site. But I've been looking at it lately and saying, you know, it's a lot more work to do a manufacturer or a mobile home, so I'm thinking about charging more.
Yeah, okay. See how easy that was? Charge more?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to charge less.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, you know, I go to these guys at these things, say, oh, you charge more, you should charge more. And you're going, what are you talking about? Charge more and do what? Like go out of business? You know, you make more by charging more. Well, that isn't how it works, everybody. There's a certain point of no return where you make nothing. So name me a mail order place that's open that used to charge a lot of money before Amazon crushed them all. You can't, but there are all these mail order companies that were super expensive at Christmas. You know, they could order a car or something and everyone thought they're all cute, but they're all out of business, you know, because they couldn't make it. People just don't pay a lot or more than they need to because it doesn't work, you know. So your biggest companies in the world, it's you can't make it up in volume. Let's do it that way, everybody. Okay, let's see who's here. John Christeman. Are you there, John? What market are you in?
I'm here, but it's really noisy here. I'm in Tucson.
Oh, you're in Tucson. Okay, so you're in the market where no one pays anything. Thank you, John. You're in the same market too. Richard, you're in the Tucson market, and Steve's in the Tucson. Well, it looks like everyone from Tucson's awake tonight. So they're in the same market, but again, the market varies depending where you're at. So manufactured housing, I hate to say it, we actually charge more than the typical housing for that if they want to have it. So we don't do much because we just charge more. It takes more time. And usually these things are way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, like forever. You're just driving forever. But they'll call us or they'll say there's a house and there's a pre-manufactured house. And I'm going, where is it? And they go, it's inside. And I'm going, oh, okay. So I never go to Benson, but I've been to Benson now twice in the last 2 weeks. And everybody in Southern Arizona goes, what, Benson? It's 47 minutes on the freeway to get there, which is the same distance for me to go to Red Rock. So I went there, and all of these things they're just crazy. But either way, they were manufactured houses with a house built over it. And they wanted to know why the floors were sloping. Well, I don't know. I guess it was that tire losing air they built over. They didn't jack it up. Okay, so pre-manufactured housing or manufactured house. So there are two different types here, everyone. So you have the manufactured house comes out in pieces or sections, a little bit different rules for that. So you have to develop your inspection for that. Pre-sales, right now that market's dead as a doornail. Commercial work, it's everywhere. So if you can develop a way of doing the tenant improvement inspections, in other words, they buy a condo, it's basically a condo in a building where the rest of the building's there, and they're just buying that one little section, doctor's office or something. These are real big right now because they're trying to make these big commercial things work by dividing them up in little condos and selling them a piece of the pie. We develop a minimum fee, and then they say, oh, I like that, and they do it. So for commercial work, maybe let's say it's $400 an hour, and anything past that, you can pay $350 an hour. I go, well, how much is that? Well, I don't know. Add that up. What is that, like $700? And some other guy goes, well, I want $900. But when you tell people you're there by the hour, they tend not to be quite as chatty to you, so you can get your inspection done and move along. Now, do all of you say, I'll spend as much time as I need to, and the fee's $400. And after 5 hours, you just keep standing there and going, this is what it is. Richard, you and I have talked about this, I think, fee-wise. Are you there, Richard? It'll take a minute.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. So do you charge more? Like if you say, oh, I think I'm going to be there 6 hours, or how do you base your fee charging? I don't want to know how much you charge. Just how are you basing your
My fees are all based on square footage, age, and then amenities, like if it's got a pool, spa, guest house, barn, whatever.
There you go. Excellent. So it's the same sort of thing, but some of you, like Richard and I have talked about it, and a friend of mine back in Ohio is the same thing. He can't get out of a house in less than 3 hours. Then he spends another 4 hours writing it. And he has like 7 hours into the inspection. But he can't make up his mind. I don't mean you, Richard, my friend. He can't make up his mind when he's writing the report. He keeps massaging what he's going to say. And so we both did the same house. And I was there 2 hours, and I typed it up in an hour, and I was done in 3, and he was still thinking about it. And so we looked at both of our reports, but he writes a different kind of report, wordy forever. And I just write down, roof is leaking, repairs are needed by a roofer, estimates needed, where he's writing down, well, this roof has blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about the conceptual idea of why roofs leak. I don't care. No one cares. All they want to know is what do I need fixed? You tell the buyer something, and then they move on from there, everybody. Okay. Any other questions about what we have here? We're going to be wrapping this up in the next 5-6 minutes. If you need this, we'll send it to you by it's being recorded. If you think of other items, please email it to us, because we like. I'm going to put this list on our website. I think this will be great for Arizona ASHI. October 30th is the scariest day of the year. We're having a great class up in Phoenix, 189 if you're a member of the chapter, 199 if you're not. We're going to have, we have this great house. We're going to do an inspect a house the first week in December in Tucson Market.
Nice.
We found this house, and we haven't started advertising yet. We're just telling this group, but it's in the Tucson Market up near River and Cloud Road. And this should be an awesome thing. It'll have a pool, a barn, housing. I think it has a metal roof, some other stuff like that. And so we're going to advertise that when the weather's cooler, and then try to do another one up north. We did those last year with food brought in and stuff. But just want to let this group know that's what we'd be doing. So this will be our first class since February of last year. We did inspect a house in the Tucson Market, I think. Roger, anything else oh, Roger's our president. Roger, anything you'd like to say to the group while you're there before we sign out?
No, just be safe in doing your inspections. Come to the classes. We're doing the 2 at the end of the year because we know that you're gonna have to have your CEUs or MRCs or whatever the heck we call them now.
See
You know. So that's why we're giving more and more. We're giving 2 classes at the end of the year so you can get those in, and so you can renew your membership.
right.
in ASHI.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, so those of you who signed in that haven't been on other classes, we've done enough classes that the chapter's raised over $3,000 in $15 and $20 fees. So that tells you how many people have come to these classes that we've offered. But we're trying to offer enough hours here for stuff, and this will be the first on-site on October 30th.
Yeah, for
Huh?
for 20 months.
For 20 months. It's been quite a while. Yeah. So in our market, I don't know if anybody knew Bruce Lee was an air conditioning guy. He got sick and died of COVID. His family got sick and he passed away. He's in our Tucson market. Just found that out.
What was his name?
His name was Bruce Lee, like the Kung Fu guy. It was sort of weird, but that was his name. He was an air conditioning guy. Nice guy. But he was 41, got sick, and that was it.
Oh, Lord.
So I thought I'd mention that to Tucson market. Okay, so anything over 2,500 we charge more for. Just let everybody know square footage wise. A lot of you, what you're doing, you're discounting the rate. So let's say it's 2,000 square feet is, let's say, $400, and then you go to 4,000 square feet and you start lowering your price down to 10 cents or something. It's still got the same stuff, even though some of the rooms are big. And once you get up into that price range, no one really cares. I don't know how many times. Has anyone ever said to you, oh, wow, that's too much? Or at the end when you get done, wow, for what you've done, you should charge more. Does anyone ever, do they say that to you? Wow.
No, they're not going to tell you that.
Oh, they don't? Oh, they say that to me all the time. They go, at the end, when they get done, they'll say, and I'm not kidding you, I should record this. They'll get done, they go, wow, I didn't realize this home inspection would be so much fun. They say that all the time, Roger. You know why?
Because you make them have fun.
I make it fun. And then when they go to the office, suddenly we get calls from their office of people saying, I'm buying a house too. And I always say before they leave, hey, why don't you tell all your friends this agent really wants to sell some houses? And then the agents love me. And the idea here is to make it an event. And if they come at the end, I hate it when they come at the end, but I'll run around with them and show them the things and I'll summarize. And then I always make sure before you leave, everybody, ask them what item is of concern to them. And if they tell you it's something you haven't written down, please put it on the report. Yeah, please put it on the report. And some of the stuff sounds weird, but put it on the report, you know. I think that's it. So Roger, very good. Does anyone else have any questions? John, I see you've unclicked your mic. Did you have a question?
Yes, I do, Brick.
Yeah.
Just concerning, I've had a few calls lately for FHA inspections.
Yeah, sure.
Are we allowed to do them?
Sure. Why not?
I haven't gotten either of them, you know, and I just assume the bank told them, no, you've got to go through us. But I didn't receive those inspections.
Yeah. I can't remember. Is it called 204K, the FHA ones?
Oh, 3K.
203?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's some kind of certification or something that goes along with that.
Yeah, it's based on the amount of money. It's based on the value of the repairs. Okay, who in here is doing FHA inspections? Anybody? Oh, okay. Well, either way, they call me up and they say it's an FHA inspection. You're going, well, what do you need? And they say, well, FHA. In some ways, there is no rule on anybody. It's just any appraiser who goes out there, and the idea is, you go to the website. I'll send it to some of you. and it's like you can't have over 2 square feet of peeling paint on the fascia. You can have a cracked window but not broken. Hey, I didn't write the rules. Just crazy stuff like that. The toilet has to be there, and you're going. So I did one house. FHA calls me up and goes, "Well, there's a toilet in one of the rooms, but the sink is gone, and then the other room it had a toilet and no sink." And I said, "Are you kidding me?" And he said, "No, that's all our requirements are." And there were no doors on any of the rooms. And I wrote that up, that there were no doors. And they said, "We only need one door on the bathroom. And that's the rule. That's lockable." And I'm going, and you expect someone to pay money for that and live in a home? Yes, that was the rule. Keith, do you have a question?
No, I mean, I've done some research on the FHA and VA stuff, and they have to have a certain number of hours for some of that stuff.
Yeah,
To be
you go on the website.
certified, because they're more appraisal than anything else.
Yeah, it's called a VA, evaluation of condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, VC report. Sorry, VC report. And the reason I can't remember right now, this used to be all the rage. And don't worry if you didn't get it, John. It probably wasn't worth it anyway for you. But they always call up and say, "Oh, can you do this for me?" The rules keep changing, and I teach classes for the federal government on doing FEMA inspections and FHA for government housing. And while I'm there teaching from their own book, some guy says, "Oh, they just changed that rule," and I'm going, whatever. Again, government inspections. Sometimes the city of Tucson and the county, and the next time this occurs, I'll send it out to everybody who's come to these classes. They do a request, a proposal, RFP, request for proposals on inspectors who'd like to fill in for city inspectors to do inspections. And it's sort of weird. And you're going, "What is it you want?" And they go, "Well, we just need someone to go out and verify it's there." And you're going, and you pay a fee, and then you find out they want to pay you $35 to go out to a building site. And you're going, "Well, no, I don't think I'm interested to take the kind of liability." But 203K, we had someone come out here and talk to us about this, and we looked it up, and successfully, I think there had only been 2 in the state where people did this. You get an estimate, and then the person does it. By the time you get done, it's just easier to borrow the money and have someone put it into the loan. It makes no sense. Any other questions here? This is great stuff. I love the questions. Any others, Roger? I think it's Key. You have any others? No. No. Okay, everybody.
There's a lot of options out there.
A lot of options. Yeah. So the wellness check, I've done a lot of these things. It's pretty easy. And then you get paid extra money. If any of you are going to court and have to testify, call me before you go. If you're going to do it, you have to be, the judge has to determine that you're an expert witness. If not, you're toast. So it doesn't matter that you're charging money. When you get there, they'll ask you what your background is. And unless they deem you as an expert witness, everything you say is going to be thrown out anyway. So you have to make yourself an expert witness based on your background. But once you have that, then you can, other people will call you and ask you to come in and testify for them. Okay. Let's check public fiduciary stuff that's run by the city and county. I told you about that. So they'll sell a house and they have to have an inspection before they sell it. The problem is these don't even see the light of day right now because everybody's buying the stuff before it goes to sort of public auction, even though it's supposed to be. The lawyers, they're selling the housing before it even makes it out. So, but if someone passes away and someone wants to buy their house, like a relative, it's a great way to make some money to do these inspections, everybody. And you write up a report, but you got to write it up based on the repairs. They're not asking for what it costs because that's up to them to get the work. In fact, you don't want to get involved with that. You just want to get involved with the defects that it needs and what needs to be done. So you got to tell them who needs to do the repair. The 1-year inspections, right now they're building like crazy. I would jump all over this thing and get up into these subdivisions. There was an inspector who was putting his signs out in front of the subdivisions, and that didn't go over too well for him to get on the building site. But once the owner owns it, you're allowed to go onto the site. But if you're doing a pre-drywall, you have to meet the requirements of the builder, because the builder owns it. So that's your problem right there. So you have to have insurance on your truck or car, and then insurance on yourself beyond your home inspector stuff. So you gotta be covered on that. Okay. I think that's about it. Oh, Harris does the insulation inspections for some company. They were doing an inspection on that. Water testing, there's no money in that. Mold, there's some money in that. Sewer scope specialist, just letting you know, in case you want to hire a company that does those. Carl's waiting for your call. Again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. This is Arizona ASHI. I'm not sure what the next class is unless someone's looked ahead for next Tuesday. If you're an expert in an area and you want to teach a class, I'll help you put it together, and we'll advertise it and then offer it out. If we offered testing of some of the things we did so you can practice, would any of you, if they're free, take tests where you would go and test yourself on stuff that we've been offering? Would any of you take those tests? Let's call them quizzes, simpler quizzes. So we're looking at putting some quizzes on here, and then you take them and it tells you how you did, and you can retake them and get better. Okay, Roger. Roger's offering the standards of practice. You can get them online, and the pool pricing. Okay. Tara's our new director, and she's been doing a great job. Executive director. Yes, I'm sorry. Executive director. She'll be there Saturday for the classes. Okay, how to price your services in a competitive market. Please, everyone, charge a lot more than I do.
So you can be the cheap guy, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you charge everybody, just as long as you're working. Does everybody understand? You know, everyone says I'm the most expensive or I'm the most affordable. No one cares. Just decide what you're going to charge, make a living, get your money, and write a good quality report that can stand the test of time. That's the main thing. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great evening, unless there's any other questions.
Thank you, Brick. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Brick.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brick.
Bye-bye, everybody. Sign out, leave meeting. Yes. Bye, Roger.